Right, so we're now in September, and with September means that a lot of our rainbow trout are going to start building up at the river mouths and all the creek mouths, preparing for their spawning run. So to fish for them today, I'm going to be fishing with a type of streamer called a booby fly. One of these guys. Here we are at the terminal end of the rig. So what we have is a sinking line. The end of the sinking line I've attached via a nail knot, roughly 40 centimetres of 10 to 12 pound nylon. At the end of that 10 to 12 pound nylon, I've got a micro ring, and I've just tied that on with a uni knot. On the other side of the micro ring, I have about 80 centimetres of fluorocarbon. I've tied that on with another uni knot. This fluorocarbon is normally about 6 to 10 pound, depending on water clarity. At the moment I'm running 8 pound. I prefer to use heavier line because that allows us to land our fish quicker. So at the end of the 80 centimetres of line, we have our fly, and I tie that on with a lefty's loop. Now lefty's loop will allow that fly to swing a little bit on the leader, and it'll just give it a little bit more action in the water. So what this all does is that sinking line is going to lie on the bottom of the lake bed, and this fly, because it's so buoyant, will sit roughly a metre above up in the water column. Every time we retrieve it, it'll dive down towards the bottom, and when we pause the retrieve, the fly will slowly float back up. And it's this action which draws the attention of the fish, and it'll also allow you to have a snagless retrieve, which is very important around areas with a bit of rock or weed. When it comes to the colours of flies, it's generally a personal preference. I do find that in lighter conditions, I prefer to use white. When it's darker, change of light, I'll use black ones, or after dark as well. If I'm fishing in an area where there's quite a lot of brown trout as well, I'll actually use these grizzled brown ones. Brown trout love these ones because it also is quite a good imitation of a bully. And then sometimes a bit of a wild card, throwing in some fluorescent orange eyes to just make them a little bit more attractive to the fish, a bit more visible. Other colours such as bright yellow and orange can often be quite good, but I generally just use black or white for most of my fishing. So for our locations, we've got a stream mouth here, but all this water is quite shallow. Any rainbow trout that will be building up will be in the deeper water, so places like out off that point there, it's a dark patch, a bit of a dark bit in here, will be worth a couple of casts. There's a drop off right along the outer side of that sandbank there. So of course this time of year, having a nice decent pair of neoprene waders can really help. So you can wade out to these little islands and stuff. You can make a cast from there, or even standing in the water without sort of suffering from hypothermia. Technique's pretty simple. Strip out a whole heap of line, cast it out as far as you can. Now the important thing is to allow that line to sink. So give it a wee while, half a minute, even a minute, just to really get down to the bottom. Always be ready though, because sometimes these fish will attack the fly when it's just sitting there static. But once we think that it's sunk down long enough, start the retrieve. And the retrieve is a short little So the wind picked up at the other spot, so it's caused me to abandon it. I've come to another creek here. It's a bit more of a classic rip scenario. You see the water current coming out and heading out that way, and there's a bit of a drop off. So what we'll be wanting to do is just work the fly back and forth across that lip. Those fish will be building up. They don't want to come into this shallow water at the moment. It's too shallow, it's too bright. I'll be nervous. So I'll just be sitting out there. I'll give it a try. Unfortunately, I think my GoPro died for that. But there we are. First cast. Beautiful rainbow trout. Nice jack. And there's the fly. Take that hook out of him somehow. Beautiful fish. Send him on his way. See you, mate. Out of here. Not too bad for the first cast. Let's get another.